Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning into the Financial Investor channel. My name is Brent, and today we're going to be doing our stock market weekly recap for May 13th through May 17th, 2019. We're going to be taking a look at last week's changes for the week. We're going to be going over the four main indexes, the changes for the week. If the markets went up, the markets went down. We're going to be taking a look at what stocks moved most active here in the after hours. Take a look at the entire S&P 500 index, what sectors were strong, what sectors were weak, or if we were weak overall. I believe kind of going forward into next week, we may possibly see some green, but we shall see. We're going to be taking a look at semiconductors, which were hammered, which is why the NASDAQ is in the red over, it went faster than any other of the indexes. And then we're going to be taking a look at oil, the mortgage rates, bonds, gold, silver, and the dollar. So if you are brand new to the channel, hit that subscribe button below. I do cover the stock market, dividends, real estate, entrepreneurship. If you're interested in any of those topics, definitely hit that subscribe button. If you do enjoy this video, find it helpful, hit that thumbs up. And if you have any comments at all, drop them in the comment section below. I always appreciate all your feedback, and let's go ahead and get into the video. I'm going to go ahead and flip my screen around here, and I'll be on the bottom there. We're going to be taking a look at last week's changes. So May 6th, we were coming out of a positive week here. So I went ahead, and this is over posted on my Instagram. I always post the changes over my Instagram for the week. I'm going to go ahead and color code this. So last week, going into last week, we were positive prior. Last week we had a negative week of the S&P dropping 2.18, Dow Jones dropping 2.12, the NASDAQ dropped 3.03, and then my portfolio fell 2.26% last week. Now, we're going to go ahead and cover some of the indexes for this week. So last week we were red. This week we continue to be red. We had a big drop on Monday, down 2.41%. This was due to tariffs on Friday being acted from 10% all the way up to 25%. And actually that had happened earlier, but there was some more news out there that was put out. I did post a little bit of that over on Facebook, so we'll be covering that here as well towards the end. So overall, S&P 500 did have a nice recovery on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but Friday, it was just sort of mixed out there. Did have a bit of a pullback towards the end of the day, sold off. We're going to be having the Fed come out next week. So overall, 5-day change down 0.76%. The Dow Jones was in second place. As far as the three main indexes, the NASDAQ is, we'll cover that here. The Dow Jones here, down this week, down 0.69%. Basically the same movement as the S&P 500. So Monday, down over 2%. Friday, down about 0.5% there, but not as much there. Now, throughout the week, they didn't gain as much as the S&P 500, which is why they did stay a little bit lower this week, down 0.69. Year to date, you can see here, they're up 10.44%. The S&P is still positive on them, up at 14.07. Now, this week, the NASDAQ, of the three main ones that investors follow, semiconductors were down hard this week, which really affected the NASDAQ. So Monday and Friday were again those weekdays. You can see a major sell-off over on Monday with the China tariffs being implemented. It really affects a lot of those semiconductor companies, as well as we had the ban on the Huawei brand, which I believe played a part into that as well. So 3.41% down on Monday. Overall, for the 5-day change, down 1.27%. Year to date, NASDAQ is still currently in first place, up 17.8%. The Russell got slammed. Of all the indexes, this one's not a primary one that a lot of investors focus on, but this is more of the national, how we're moving nationally, because there's a lot of those smaller mid-cap companies that are more national. They're here within the United States. They don't have a lot of international coverage that the S&P 500 companies do. Here we're looking at the Russell 2000, which is down 2.37%. So they had a big sell-off on Monday, down 3.18, and another hard sell-off on Friday, down 1.38%. The Russell, this one's up 13.88%, almost in line, almost there with the S&P 500, but just slightly trailing behind it. This one kind of an interesting one with the dollar. The dollar actually came up this week, which we'll see. I believe kind of going forward into the upcoming week, we may see the Russell kind of rebound faster than the other indexes. It fell faster this week. I believe kind of going into next week, we may see the Russell there kind of rebound a little bit faster, especially with the increased dollar, which we'll look at. Stock futures basically flat right now. There's not a lot of news that went out currently here in the after hours. The Fed's going to be coming out next week, so I'm not sure how much actual movement we will see between Monday and Wednesday, but we shall see how that all sort of plays out. Some of the most active stocks here in the after hours, not a whole lot of names here as far as some of the leaders. If we take a look at some of the laggards, I can see Sprint here down 1.62. We have Mattel down 1.39. Now, if we take a look at some of the most active ones, we've got Qualcomm. So again, semiconductors were slammed this week. So Qualcomm kind of popping back up here in the after hours, up 0.18. Pfizer, one of those pharmaceuticals, down 0.05. Wells Fargo financials continuing to kind of sell off in the after hours. We also have Intel down 0.36, Coca-Cola. So a lot of big names here. We see Apple moving higher here in the after hours. So that could be playing well into the upcoming week. And Verizon, a couple of telecommunications. So we got some pretty good names in there. It's a bit mixed, but for the most part, I see a lot more positive than negative. Now, S&P 500 here. Here's the overview for the week. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get rid of my face here for a second. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I wanted my face. There we go. Okay, now we can kind of see the S&P 500. Down on the bottom right hand, we can see utilities up here on Friday, while the rest of the sectors here are pretty much red besides the telecom. We see a couple pieces over here in the healthcare, and then we see utilities primarily positive over here. If we look at the 1 week performance, we can see here that technology, Google, Microsoft stayed positive. Facebook kind of coming off those highs. Facebook has traveled, moved up extremely high now, coming out of the $130, $140 point, now reaching $185 within a very short amount of time. So here they're just taking a break with the rest of the market. Texas Instruments and Broadcom. So here's that semiconductor sector. So Intel, Texas Instruments, and Broadcom. I've seen a few investors over in the dividend chats discussing AVGO, kind of interesting, but across the board, not a whole lot of positive. You can see Next Era Energy up 3.77, AT&T up 3.85 this week, coming out of that $30 range. Verizon up 2.07. So I see a lot of movement into these sort of telecommunications. AbbVie up 2.6, Pfizer up 1.84 for the week. Apple down 4.15 there. So semiconductors this week down over 7.58%. I'm going to go ahead and pop up my video again here. So semiconductors down 7.58% for the week. So this is what really dragged down that NASDAQ this week. So that plays a part there. Financials, we already saw sort of the financials here sell off here. JP Morgan down 1.55, Wells Fargo down 3.08, Bank of America down 3.994% this week, Citigroup down 4%, and a few others. We shall see what the Fed says. I believe they do go and discuss changes this upcoming week, so we shall see. I'm not sure how financials are kind of fare from that. So financials down this week 2.18%, still up year to date 12.85. Oil positive this week. So if you've been buying into Exxon, Chevron, a few other ticker symbols, those are some of those popular ones that investors choose to invest in, some of those big companies out there. Oil is beginning to kind of move forward a little bit, up 5-day change 1.87, year to date up 35.4%. We have energy. So as far as we saw oil move higher. Why did it move higher? So we see oil prices were moving higher on Tuesday through an increased escalation trade war. So trade war with China and the United States. We see oil jumping up to $70.30 a barrel. So you guys can go ahead and pause it. We can see on Friday, futures were $72.61 per barrel. That's a pretty big difference between Tuesday and Friday. So you can see that continuation there, kind of growing there with oil. The dollar, as I was saying, the dollar moved higher out of that $97 range, now at 98.01. So this is where the Russell 2000 fell down hard this week, but we see the dollar becoming stronger, which will help those domestic companies, those here national companies. So we may see the Russell kind of outperform the other indexes kind of going into the week, but there's no way to predict there for sure. Silver and gold down hard this week. More silver than gold. Silver down 2.31%. Gold actually only down 0.64%. So this puts gold into the negative for the year, but silver has been one of the weaker of the materials here, down 6.89%. Gold going down into the negative for the year, down 0.49%. Bonds did positive this week, up 0.3%. Year to date, up 2.52. We can see a lot of positive movement there with the bond market for the week, only down 0.15% there on Thursday, which, down 0.15 is basically flat on the day, and then pretty much positive for the week. Rates have gone down slightly. We can see a drop of 4 basis points, going from 4.29 a week ago, now down to 4.25. So if you're looking to refinance, definitely go with your, definitely spread out your options, see what is available out there. You can see that there's many different lenders out there offering rates as low as 4.25 within that range. So we can kind of see the history here. For a while, you could not get anything lower than about 4.6 back in January, and now we're trading at a 4.25 as far as that 30-year fix. And if you have a first-time home buyer, you can sometimes get some better incentives. So some of the news here for the week, as we kind of scroll up here, I posted about stock futures. So yeah, the China-U.S. trade war, that is what kind of triggered this sort of sell-off here on Friday. We can see the S&P, NASDAQ, and the Dow Jones losing almost 1% there, starting up on Monday. I did make my Monday buys video as far as what stocks I purchased on Monday. I had some dividends get paid out last week. I had Lowe's paying out $1.82, ticker symbol ABM, ABM Industries paying out $1.95 for a total of $3.77 paid out last week. I bought in with those dividends plus my invested capital. I bought some Chevron, which is a brand new basic materials company that I added into my portfolio. I also continue to average into Triple N. I believe now we're going to see Triple N beginning to not slide down into the negative week after week. So I may go a little bit harder into Triple M this week just due to the upcoming ex-dividend on Wednesday, I believe is when they do go ex-dividend. Walgreens here, a little bit invested into that one as well. Going into the upcoming, we can see a lot of, on Monday, across the board, everything was red, but utilities and real estate investment trusts. So if you have some REITs in your portfolio, you have some utilities in your portfolio, when the rest of the market is tanking down 2, 3, 4%, if you're invested in utilities, if you have some real estate investment trusts within your portfolio, those can really help offset your loss on days where the rest of the market just kind of takes a red day. So consider that. Monopoly there, great game for the kids. My kid loves playing, and he loves it when I have to pay him. Trade war on Monday, could it be a discount or, sort of, I think it's a pretty, they're still working in the background as far as the talks. Zillow article here, how Zillow lost nearly $109,000 per flip with a 37% net loss. So interesting article. Zillow is not doing an amazing job at their flipping business, but I haven't read into it as much if it's a loss as far as they rehabbed it and then they are able to deduct those rehab costs against their net income sales. I'm not, I haven't read into that too much there. Now, picking up on Tuesday, we did pick up a bit here in the after hours. We saw Tuesday after hours, the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones all begin to pick up. So I kind of asked the question, how do you believe, do you believe that Thursday and Friday will fare positive as well? So I had a few out there discussing that here in the channel. I went over my entire stock market portfolio, A to Z across the board, what stocks I am holding inside all of my portfolios across the board, allocations and all. Bitcoin, just about 15 hours ago, I believe it was Friday, somebody sold off nearly, I know I posted over on Facebook, somebody sold off about 5,000 Bitcoins, or that would estimate about $38.6 million worth of Bitcoin. And that affected it by having it drop 10.7%, or almost $1,000 in the day. So I thought, interesting there that a specific seller with that large of a portfolio can affect the overall change there for the currency. And stock market changes for this week, we've already sort of discussed the S&P down 0.76%, the Dow Jones down 0.69%, the NASDAQ down 1.27%, and then my portfolio down 1.07%. I did buy back into Apple, and Apple, we already saw the performance of that. Apple dropped down almost a little over 4% for the week, and that is what helped me move slightly lower than the indexes out there this week. So that is basically all I wanted to cover in today's video. So again, if you are brand new to the channel, hit that subscribe button below. If you did enjoy this video, find it helpful, hit that thumbs up. If you have any comments, questions, you'd like to share any information that you were watching this week, drop them in the comment section below. I always appreciate all your feedback. I like that. I like discussing all the stock changes for the week, but I'm not always looking at every single thing that's going out there on the market. So if you do have any information you'd like to share, drop it in the comment section. And thank you all for tuning in. I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.